Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to ESEA Season 27 on teamfortress.tv. Tonight we've got a Rewind preview for you. This is the week 4, the last week before Rewind. Coming up now, it is Velocity eSports taking on Froyotech. My name is Cornpop. I'm going to be joined by Mela as my co-caster and Azazel on the production. And this should be a good game. We should be going live pretty soon here. We started about half an hour late. But that's all okay. The players wanted to delay for some reason, so now we're about to go live. I'm looking at the players tagged up. I wanted to go down these rosters. It looked like Froyotech are playing with a player named Platinum in the server. I don't know if it's actually Platinum, but I would assume so. He's playing on Froyotech, so that's pretty damn cool. If you excuse me for just a moment. Mela, hello, are you here?
Hello.
Perfect. You want to go over the Velocity roster then real quick?
Yeah, so over on the side of Velocity, new addition to the lineup this season is Showstopper on the Pocket Soldier. Crypt, who was Pocket last season, is now roaming. Shamu and Pete on Scout. Jarrett, the Demo Man, and Bear is on Medic.
Perfect. And then for Froyotech, obviously the roster they have been playing with, it looks like the Platinum was just like an alias or something, because I don't think it's actually him in the server. He's no longer in the server. Now Froyo Muma is ready. I don't know. They're messing around with their name tags, but Froyotech's regular roster is Banny on Scout, sitting next to Eric on Scout. Yomps is their Pocket Soldier. Blaze is their roaming soldier. Habib is up on Demo Man, and then Shade is their regular medic. Yeah, we're here on Granary, Mela, week 4, obviously. This is sort of the last chance for a team to beat Froyotech before LAN.
Well, I would have to predict Velocity is not going to be able to do that. However, I do believe that they're actually going to take the first round off Froyo out of any team in a long time. If you take it all the way back to last season, Velocity managed to get, I believe, a single round against them in a fairly long game against Froyo. And I think that their current roster has been playing really well. Obviously, they just beat Swift last week, which was a very important matchup as far as playoff seedings go. Aside from that, they had a really close game against Ascent early on in the season, in which they lost 5-3. So Velocity has been on the upswing, which is to be expected because that's what happens when your roster stays together. They've had the same 5 players for a few seasons now, just switching out Marmalou, who went to Ascent. Now they have Showstopper on Pocket, who came from Ascent. And I think Showstopper's been fitting in really well on this team, honestly. I think he's been playing pretty well overall. Crypt is a really solid soldier. He was sort of, in a way, maybe under the shadow of Marmalou in the past, where if you wanted to look at an upcoming player on this team, the attention would be directed to him. But I feel like Crypt was always right there as well. I think he's always been really solid, and he's been doing well on Roamer so far. And Granary, of course, being such a soldier-friendly map, I think that Velocity is a shoe-in to get one round here. I'm predicting a 5-1 for Froyo, but I believe Velocity will actually be able to take one round, which is better than any team in that Essentials tournament we cast the other day.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because obviously Velocity, one of the few top North American teams that weren't able to compete in that tournament last weekend, but they did have some representation, both of their IM team, but more importantly this match, the Bear and Kryptonite were on a bit of a mixed team, and their match against Froyotech went not great for them. We're not going to really discuss it because it was kind of a nightmare, but that was a 5-0, unfortunately. Froyotech didn't drop around the whole tournament. So, I mean, Froyotech obviously are looking very, very good in the North American scene already, and Velocity, it's going to be a challenge for them. I would respect that 5-1. I think that's probably a safe prediction here. The same prediction that TF2 Metrics gave this match over on Twitter, if you're following along with that. So they've got some statistical analysis to call that as well, but we are going live. The players are rated up. It's Froyotech taking on Velocity Esports.
Yep, this is a nice little preview for the Rewind LAN that's coming up later this week, and both these teams are going to be there in full force with the rosters you're seeing currently.
Absolutely. Starting off now, players will be rolling out, and yeah, okay, Habib is on a a regular-ish alias, Habib King. I don't know, he was messing around with it earlier, but Habib's going to be coming to mid now, as well as Jarrett going to be getting into this granary, and Jarrett's much faster than Habib on this rollout. He's going to be sticking up top and getting Habib with quite a bit of early damage, so we'll see how that goes. Habib very low to start things off. See if any Velocity players want to be able to commit on that, but he's all healed up already, so we'll see now. Showstopper eating a little bit of damage. Big Bob by Yomp's going to be coming down. Oh, maybe just faking it out. Not going aggressive just yet. Now it's going to be Blaze, the actual aggression. Gets the frag on a Showstopper. Great job. Does trade out Yomps with that. Showstopper got that frag. Jarrett eating a lot of damage already. Shamu getting aggressive. Habib does get taken down by him, so great job by the scouts of Velocity. Still both alive here. Pete as well. Push across the point, but the crits has come out on this middle, and they're trying to hit some stuff with Banny, but they really haven't gotten anything, and Jarrett hits a big frag. Shamu gets the one on a Banny. Pete and Jarrett both going to get counter-fragged by Eric and Blaze, though, who've kind of sandwiched these last two players. Bear gets taken down.
No.
Shamu versus Eric, 1v1. Eric gets the pack, and Shamu's out with the melee weapon, does hit him with it. Eric's got that bleed effect, and he's losing health so quickly. The melee comes out, and Shamu on top here.
Oh no, Bear dropping the Uber at the end there. That's very unfortunate. If he popped that off, he certainly would be living right now on this middle point along with the scout buddy Shamu. But Shamu coming in clutch there, takes out the last two froyotech players. And interesting mid there from Velocity. They played passive the entire time, but every time Froyo tried to push up, Velocity just had a man waiting. But Froyo was going to come back in with that Bear late death, and Shade alive, healing up his teammates. Shamu, he wanted to get that cap, but just 2 times is not going to be fast enough. The granary midpoint, I believe one of the slower midpoints overall as far as cap time. So Froyo with that quicker medic respawn, they're going to be back in action right now, and they're building that Uber up right now as well with the scout.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a mid-wing for Velocity, but technically froyotech did cap it first. So they're going to be able to get that one. Even Uber charges on both sides. Shade spawned a little bit faster, but Bear's been building a little bit better, so they're going to get to 100 at the exact same time. froyotech are going to run it in regardless and get an early frag off Jarrett. They do use Yomps for that, making it a 5-on-5. Kryptonite over the flank, a little bit secluded as well. Having to fight down, Eric does trade his life for that, but now the froyotech aggression are coming in, getting Shamu, who was left out to die by his team. Now that leaves 3 Velocity players alive, and they're trying to get out to last, but froyotech are all there already. They're going to pick up Bear and Pete. Showstopper, the last man standing for his Velocity squad. Can he do anything here? Mela, froyotech's already on last.
Yeah, unfortunately, Velocity trying to get out of there, and Showstopper just not able to keep up with them. They just all get caught out on the retreat, and Froyo with such an aggressive Uber into 2 there. They took Yard just with an Uber trade, and then the problem was they only had 1 man in on the flank, which was Eric, but the amount of distraction he did was huge. It dragged away the flank players from Velocity, and then it dragged away the combo as well, which left Shamu in one side of Yard alone, fighting so many Froyo players. He goes down, and it just crumbles from there.
3-minute round from froyotech, so that means they lead 1-0, and Habib going down very early again. Jarrett got that quick sticky damage onto him, and this time they were able to follow up on it. Yomps is going to be going in for a big bomb. Exact same time as Blaze. They're focusing Bear, and they do get the frag they wanted. Eric causing some havoc as well, gets one initial frag, but Shamu takes down Yomps, and Showstopper with a big frag onto the scout player there. Banny gets Kryptonite. That leaves only 2 players left alive with 1 HP. Shade does get taken down. Lone scout on froyotech. Banny having a rough time here. Everybody's kind of low, but Pete's going to catch him as he's trying to retreat. So Velocity with a more decisive mid-win this time.
Yeah, well played from Velocity. Just that triple spam, the pistols and the stickies coming in from Jarrett. So Habib goes down so fast, and after that, Froyo makes the smart play there. They just send in everyone. It's time to get the medic, and you know, that's really the only option they have left at that point. Bear bombed on by Yomps, Blaze, Scout's getting aggressive. He goes down, but due to that entirely over-aggressive play, which is necessary, Froyo loses the rest of their players, and now Velocity control of mid, and slight Uber ad as well, potentially enough to play off of. Banny actually getting aggressive in the garage right now, as well as Yomps, the Froyo players here, taking some positional control, looking to maybe get a pick, but they're just going to back up as the ornaments fly in for Pete.
Yeah, and it looks like Velocity are going to use in here. They built up a bit of an advantage, and they're going to be able to run forward with this. They get Eric and Yomps, so that's 2 forward players down very early, and they're just going to exchange. Shade is far, far out, but they've managed to take this Yard over, so that's another sort of half point that froyotech are going to have to contest. Now Shade's reaching 100%. They do probably want to wait for Eric and Yomps to get off that respawn, but ideally they're going to want to take it back in. Bear's already at 45% though. I mean, his building overall this game has been just so much better than Shade's, and froyotech are taking their sweet time, so we'll see how this Velocity Uber actually ends up being built by the time froyotech take it in, if they're even going to be able to. I mean, 75 from Bear. He's building so quickly. Blaze, however, has gone for the flank, and if he doesn't get caught out, this could be really bad, but no, Jarrett gets a big pipe onto him, and that's all good. 93% as Shade pops Supercharge off completely alone. Oh, this is a disaster from froyotech. What are they doing with this Supercharge? They're getting absolutely nothing. Bear already has him. His own Ubercharge. They're chasing it on Habib and Shade. Now, a couple players have gone in behind, and that could be disastrous for Velocity. Habib gets taken down, but now Velocity are kind of left out to dry. They don't know what they want to do with this Ubercharge. They need to stop mid. If mid gets capped off, this would be a disaster, but they are going to bomb it. It does get capped. Yomps, thank God he didn't get that frag on a Bear. That would have been a bit embarrassing. But very strange fight that just happened there.
Yeah, Froyo actually took their Uber out of drop down, but Banny went into garage. Meanwhile, Shade got launched away from the spam into yard alone, so he was just Ubered on nothing. Banny going down to garage. Froyo flanked with a desperate attempt to back cap, but as I previously mentioned, that mid just caps too slow for that to ever happen. So Velocity clean up the frags, and they're making their way through the flank right now with a pocket. Showstopper in deep. He's got to be careful though. He's on low HP due to the Habib spam, but he's going to stay alive. Velocity, oh, they trade 1-for-1. Soldiers down, Scout in, trying to get the force on Bear. No, meat shot down by Shamu. The Pocket Scout playing his role there, and still a slight advantage, but with 2 men down for Froyo, spam lacking, it's going to be easy for Velocity to walk in here, try to get the trade off. They're taking their time. No Ubers pop yet, Cornpop.
Yeah, and I think Velocity and N are going to decide against it. Play it safe, sit back on second. Decent call from them. I mean, froyotech, they had like maybe a 10% advantage. Velocity did, and then those players coming off the respawn. So I don't dislike that play. Kryptonite in a 1v1 with Blaze. Is he gonna trade here? No. It looks like some scout aggression is gonna come forward and get that frag. And Jarrett's in a lot of trouble too. He ends up falling to his death. Yomps gets the credit for that, and then Habib pushes forward, gets the frag on a Pete. So all of a sudden, Velocity are 3 men down, and now they're in a really bad position.
Look at Banny and Yomps in behind. They're on the Bear. This force is definitely gonna come out. It does. Yomps might go down, but Shade yet to pop. The Froyo force is just biding the time for the Zuber to fade, and then they're going to pounce. You can see Habib just waiting. Showstopper's in deep, trying to make something happen. He's going to drag the scouts away, but surely going down, and he does. So Velocity, they're holding on to yard. Bear, weak, just building that Uber up, and Shade not having to pop. Shamu is in behind in the lunchbox. Probably going to go for this backup here as Froyo. Look at them, they're all going through garage. That's actually leaving so much space for Velocity to just go behind. No one covering the flank, so look at this, ×3 on the point. It's just a weak Eric and Yomps on the respawn there, but this cap's definitely going off. Everyone is there right now on 2. Uber popped. Oh no, just not able to get the cap, but Velocity, they finally do. Just all their players going in there, and look at this, it's just Eric and Shade. Eric, he's gonna go down. Shade might go down as well. They're on the hunt. He's close up by the door. Showstopper in onto the point, but the Habib respawn might be able to clean this up. Crypt trying to bomb in and reinforce the soldier buddy, but not enough health on the side of Velocity. They are going to be going down here. Shade barely staying alive, but smart play from Velocity to wrap around. Froyo committed all their forces to garage, which on Granary, this is the back cap map. That was just a well-read situation by Velocity. They did the classic wrap play, and it worked out. Ubers are even. They're going to have control of yard here, and basically it's just evened out at this point due to that. So well played to Velocity, and great job reading the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. But froyotech able to turn it around now. So quite a bit of time on this clock. So they're going to be coming in, trying to get in on this middle point. It is even Uber charges. Just kind of bully Velocity out of yard. They didn't really have that much control on it. So we're going to see them building up their Uber charges now. Shade is building efficiently at this point. So it's not going to be like before when Bear can just completely outbuild him and make himself an advantage where he probably shouldn't have one. But this time, Bear at about 90 when Shade's getting 100. Nobody going to push off a 10% ad, especially when it's kind of hard to know if you have that or not. So now we might see a bit of the classic Granary slowdown on this mid to second point, mid to yard. If Velocity want to send some sacks in, there are a lot of players in garage for them, and they got to watch out because he's spamming quite a few pipes.
Look at this. Pete's actually in way behind right now. This is what Pete likes to do. He, more than any scout potentially in that flank roll, will be behind the enemy lines. He is no fear going behind there, but he's going to fight the scout 2v1, and due to that outnumbering, he is doomed. So he's going to be looking at the respawn screen as Froyo probably gearing up to attempt a mid push here.
Yeah, for sure. If froyotech don't push in right away, Pete could definitely come up on off glass. We've seen him do that lots before, and there he goes, spawning on snipers. So froyotech really not doing anything with that one-man advantage, just letting Pete come up on that sniper, and his death there is not going to be too impactful despite, or otherwise just letting him switch off. So here he is now. He's coming over towards Garage. He's going to want to take his first shot before anybody knows he's there. I can't tell if froyotech have been able to spot it out just yet, but they're probably suspicious of an off glass. This isn't any sort of a surprise play, as he's still getting some spam, but waiting for him to hit a shot.
Yeah, we saw Pete do some magical things on the sniper last week, but just going to be exploded by the beam pipes. And actually, Eric with the meat shot on a crypt there on the flank. And look at this, Scout's overwhelming, and Bear actually has to pop it off. Shade playing the crates, not Ubering yet. Showstopper in the air, does go down. Shamu's in deep, trades with Habib, so decent frag there. But Shade not having to pop is the main issue at hand here for Velocity, as they're going to attempt a yard defense. Respawn's coming up in time. At least 5 of their players will be there. Habib with a fairly long respawn, though. That'll delay for a bit, but Bear only 30% here. It's going to be tough. They're going to have to try to back out and keep Bear alive while simultaneously forcing this Uber from Shade.
Oh, and a big bomb from Kryptonite, kind of getting juggled though, and he's not able to get the force off that they wanted onto Shade. Unfortunate there. That was basically the sole attempt from Velocity to get that force. So with that, they're going to choose just to run back to second, and they still don't have a very large Uber charge. And froyotech are choosing just to pop in, run for this right-hand side to get Shamu with the frag from Yomps, and Bear's in a lot of trouble at this point. We do have a pause, and this is a very interesting time for the game to be paused.
Yeah. Uber just fading here on the side of Froyo. Vanny with the pistol out, just right in front of Pete, who's trying his best to defend Bear, who is close to the Uber himself, 81%. Yomps bombing in. At this point, you have to think that, well, for Velocity, what they're going to need to have happen here is Showstopper, who does have a buff, and Pete, who also has the buff. They're going to have to take out Vanny. They're going to have to defend from the Yomps bomb that's incoming. Jarrett on low HP, Bear, low HP, both of them, around 50%. So this is going to be on Showstopper and Pete here, basically, to defend these aggressing Froyo players. And in the meantime, Eric capping out 2, Habib and Blaze a little too far back to support. So this could actually be a pretty great situation for Velocity, but that will all be depending on Bear staying alive and these players here going down from Froyo.
Yeah, Bear's only on 72 HP. The way I see it, I mean, if Yomps hits a clean rocket right now, I don't think there's anything Velocity can do. Velocity basically hoping in this situation that Yomps misses his rocket by a bit. It doesn't have to miss completely. Maybe Bear gets a nice surf back to that back to the spawn door, and then again Pete and Showstopper can kind of protect for a while. Bandy's got a pistol out, so he's not going to be able to just instantly meat shot the medic, but still, I mean, he can do quite a bit of damage with that over a short period of time. So a lot of threats to Bear. It's going to be tough to keep him alive, but not impossible. This is obviously not where the teams actually paused in real time. We are 90 seconds delayed on our STV, so 90 seconds in the future from this unpause is where they actually pause. So here we see the unpause. Bear actually running away, but looks like Bandy does get that follow-up frag after a slightly missed rocket from the bombing soldier Yomps, but still doing enough damage. Showstopper quite hurt, gonna fall to his death there. Kryptonite trying to stop this point from being capped off. Pete as well, fighting on some froyotech combo players, and they're doing a decent job at defending this. They gotta keep themselves alive and ideally do some damage to Shade, but Eric does get the 1-for-1 trade, ending out with Jarrett going down. Kryptonite in a lot of trouble right now. Bear off that respawn, trying to heal up his players, but Bandy's hitting the shots that he needs to. It's a 1v1, but Bandy's so low. Each scout has a medic on them. And if Shamu can kill Bandy quickly, he's being healed up. That's the only issue here. The respawns are going to be coming in from Velocity and going to force froyotech to back off. So not able to push in fast enough, but of course that Uber charge advantage is going to be a big deal. Yep,
definitely. And Bear coming up on the respawn, just saving Shamu. Showstopper coming back up and getting a clean rocket onto Bandy. Essentially, I mean, that just came down to the Velocity spawns are closer than the Froyo spawns and just whittled them away over time. So Velocity going to be holding up here on last. They do have the Engineer of Shamu, who's been playing a whole lot of Engineer on their last holds throughout all the maps that we've seen them play so far. Pete on the sniper once again. Froyo in with the Uber on pipe. Bears deep in spawn. Actually, all the Velocity players in spawn. This could be a dangerous situation. They're going to have to come out at some point here. The gun is down and point time is going in, so Velocity have to bomb it. Bear gets his Uber just in time, though. He's going to pop it off. Not really any frags on Froyo, though, as Eric running around on the pipe. Blaze does go down. Eric not going to be able to get out through the window, so he goes down as well. Banny, Shade, Yomps on the point, and Velocity, they're going to begin to aggress here. They should be able to get this cap. Massive time on it, and Froyo just relegated to holding yard at the moment. The beam coming in, trying to set up a quick sticky trap at Velocity. They're going to keep up the aggression here.
Yeah, they don't want to slow it down at all. Looks like Banny gonna get taken down by a bomb showstopper, and Pete gets eaten by a pipe. So Shade's gonna be able to make it back out to middle point, and again, Shade still has this uber charge advantage. This is about where the pause happens, so now we know. It looks like Bear crashed or something. That's what they're saying in chat, but Bear is still up and he's still building, so looks like there's no issues with that, so that's lucky for both the teams. Now froyotech with the supercharge, they're going to pop it off into yard, going to try to get as much as they can, a lot of ground, a lot of frags if possible. They're chasing Jarrett in through second, now they're kind of going over the flank. Ubercharge already faded, and they didn't get anything while it was happening. Kryptonite's still fighting them here in Lunchbox, but doesn't look like he's going to go down either. And now Showstopper with the Ubercharge onto him, pushing forward an enemy team. Did you get Eric, who's trying to do some fancy stuff in behind, but otherwise they're pressuring in on Shade, but he's doing a good job of dodging all this damage. Jemu and Showstopper now, it's going to be eyes on Showstopper. He's trying to jump around this medic, get anything he can, fall on Habib maybe. There he goes, does get the frag on a Shade. Excellent job. Eat some stickies though. He's not going to be able to lift the tail, but that leaves only Bear and Kryptonite left alive for their team. Banny's sort of on the hunt. He's on really low HP, but because they only have 2 players alive, I mean, they can't hold on second.
Yeah, they're going to be heading into last. Banny, he's actually in, but he realizes these spawns are coming in, so he's going to run right out of there, just gain a little information from the peak. Froyo will be capping too, but Bear building up that whole time with Crypt. He's at 60%. Shade just respawning now at 20, heading to the second point that his team just captured. And Velocity, it looks like they want to come in. Habib did have a chance to put up some traps though. Upper, there are stickies. Scout and Bear heading towards the point right now. Froyo, they're going to defend this though. Bear not quite with the Uber yet, so Velocity, they don't want to go in too early here, or they could end up dropping players without them being able to be saved, and that's what's going to happen. Showdown and Shamu. Bear is so weak. He's getting out the Blaze. Oh no, Yomps with the clean rocket. And that is the end of Bear's life. Velocity medic down, and now Froyo should have a relatively easy time just coming in here with the buffs, cleaning up the rest of Velocity and getting the cap.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tough hold for Velocity if they want to try this. I mean, Shade popping his supercharge off now. Jarrett and Pete both end up falling. Kryptonite falls from the sky and ends up dying. They have done a good job of blocking it so far, but the problem is there's so many froyotech players here. They're the last player off that respawn. He's not going to be able to kill 5 players, so that's making it 2-0 for froyotech, but that round a lot longer than the first.
Yeah, not a bad round. Definitely some opportunities there for Velocity. Showstopper creating some of those. Nice pick on his Shade there towards the end. Had a really nice Uber in 2. They're just not able to follow up. They're not able to keep the momentum going. But so far, it's not looking hopeless. They're certainly contesting.
Mids have been very good for Velocity so far. We'll see if they can try to keep this one up. This time Habib not going down super early. Yomsa though, quick bomb onto Bear. He took a little bit too much damage, and with him going down Jared at the exact same time, this is going to be a tough mid fight for them. They're just kind of running around at this point. They do lose Kryptonite. Showstopper's a bit of a pickle here. Does take down Pete, but eats some stickies and some scout shots, and that is going to be 3 players left alive on the side of froyotech after this fight.
Yeah, the main difference in that mid was Froyo wasted no time sending in Yomps and Blaze. Yomps and Blaze on the previous mids slightly delayed on those bombs, but that time they just went as soon as they possibly could, giving Velocity no time. And all the Velocity mids so far have been relatively passive, so Froyo kind of found the cure to what they've been doing, and easy mid win for them. Jared actually going to get caught out here on 2. He does trade for Banny, but not really worth it in this situation. You definitely want your demo alive, pushing into last. Froyo relatively far back though at the moment, taking a hell of a lot of time to get to 2, and that's going to allow Shamu to get a level 3 up. Sniper on Pete. This is interesting. I mean, normally you would expect Froyo to be operating at a much quicker pace than this, so certainly uncharacteristic.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. I mean, Velocity could have even maybe try to get a little bit more aggressive than they did, but gonna play it safe. Bear still only at 80% now. Shot coming up from Pete, not gonna get any frags. Did some damage to Eric, but that's not gonna get killed just yet. We see the gun goes down fairly quickly, so now they want to get some frags. If they rocket on a Showstopper, he's gonna have to retreat back to his team. No frags down just yet. Kryptonite aggressive onto them. That's a great job by him. He's gonna be able to get that one. Habib going down as well. This surely is a failed push by froyotech. They lose Eric as well off the tail end of that, so 3 left alive for them. They're gonna try to position themselves here on 2. Maybe try to get a pick or go for a back half or something, but it's gonna be tough. Shamu does get the frag on a Blaze in the 1v1. It leaves just Banny and Yomps left alive, sort of hiding on the flank again. They're gonna see if they can get anything, but it's kind of a tall order there. Yeah,
Banny considering going for the force there, but after Blaze goes down, he decides to just get out of there. Bear with massive ad. Excellent hold there and great play from Crypt, dropping out of the window, just doing huge damage. And actually, someone in drop down? I'm not completely sure. Someone had to run out of there on Froyo's side, but they're going to be back at mid now. Still only 40%, and this Uber's coming in from the choke side. Showstopper just taking some damage. Uber not being popped. He's actually dangerously low. He does go down, and look at this aggression from Froyo. They're bombing in, doing damage, but then retreating instantly. Shamu gets one frag, but look at this position from Yomps. Uncontested, just all the spam, and the force is going to come out.
Yeah, Kryptonite getting that frag on a shade exactly when he needed to. This was almost going to be a failed push-in by Velocity, but they're getting all the frags they want right now, and that's going to leave only Blaze and Habib left alive. So great job by Kryptonite to be able to get the frag on the shade. They looked a little hesitant walking in there. They weren't sure if they wanted to really use. They lost Showstopper really early, and that was bad. Now Eric's kind of snuck his way in. Habib as well, just throwing some pipes down, see if he can get some big free damage. But look, froyotech have more players on this midpoint, and that's going to allow them to get aggressive so quickly onto everybody. Blaze falls up, and Banny right behind him. Does so much damage. Blaze gets a fourth one onto Pete. Kryptonite, the last man standing. I mean, that was just complete and utter destruction from froyotech.
Yeah, Crypt trying to make something happen here on 2, but the timing just off, so he's going to go down. This is looking like a third Froyo round and an end to this first half. They're walking through the left-hand side. Habib getting that sticky spam in. Soldiers bombing. Showstopper weak. He's definitely going to be going down here. Eric onto Bear gets that frag as well. And Froyo just picking apart the Velocity respawns. They're going to be taking this last point with relative ease. Crypt, desperation, but not able to do anything. Some good plays coming out of these Velocity soldiers, but not able to capitalize. And just, you saw in that last fight, Velocity just making the mistake of hanging in too long, and the Froyo respawns came up and just got incredibly aggressive at the first opportunity, and the worst thing possible happened for Velocity, which is their players had to back out through choke, and when a soldier lands on players in granary choke, that is the end, and Blaze just cleaning up 4 frags there, so great play from him, and just Velocity, a poor read of that situation. They had to get out earlier. There was no way they could hold that with their respawns being so delayed, and only Jarrett and a scout to fight off all of the Froyo respawners, and Froyo just making quick work of those players. So unfortunate from Velocity, they're having some good individual plays here. Shamu doing a pretty good job cleaning up, but really Crypt and Showstopper, they've been making opportunities, creating space, but just no capitalization from the team play.
And that's like why froyotech is considered the best team, at least in North America, potentially the world. That's up for grabs next weekend. But I mean, you make one little mistake against froyotech and they just collapse on you, dealing so much damage, and make sure that you get punished to the fullest extent possible. We're going live here in the second half already. It's 3-0 for froyotech coming into this one. Of course, Velocity trying to make some sort of an upset play here happen in preparation for Rewind 2 LAN happening next weekend, where these teams will face each other once again. Jarrett getting this midpoint. Again, faster than Habib. He's been doing a good job of this so far. Not able to land the initial sticky, not going for him up top there. But again, these mids started off good for Velocity. The last one wasn't in the favor of froyotech, and now it's Kryptonite and Showstopper getting aggressive onto Shade, but Shade's been doing a good job of bombing, just running around here, missing these rockets. And Shamu and Pete, the last 2 players alive already, so many down on their side. They're gonna get Eric, but I mean, they took them a long time to get that frag, and Pete now, as his scout partner went down, he is surely following soon and taken down by Banny.
Yeah, the soldiers over on the side of Velocity trying to do their best. Essentially, they tried to run the mid that Froyo beat them with on the previous one. Just all-out aggression from the soldiers, but it just didn't work out. Frankly, Showstopper and Crypt, they just didn't hit as many rockets as they needed to there. Just not enough damage going out, so because of that, they're going to be holding their last with a massive disad. Shamu on the heavy, Pete onto the sniper, which he is very familiar with. Froyo gearing up to make this last push.
Yeah, and it is a crit Krieg on the side of Shade, so they're going to want to get as many frags as they can, ideally keep their medic safe, and they pop it off onto Habib and gets Bear immediately. That first sticky so well positioned. Now, Pete kind of staring at them. They got to watch out for that. They're not shining invincible anymore, but Kryptonite in the back line's kind of in a 1v2. Does get the frag on Eric. Good job by him, but right there have not let up the aggression on this second point, but it might be a bit of a mistake here. Jarrett, maybe? No, not quite. froyotech are going to be able to cap this one off and make it 4-0.
They, honestly, they might have been able to hold that if Crypt was closer. I mean, he did get a pick behind, which was important, but he hung back too long, and Jarrett almost clutched that out. If Crypt was there, they actually potentially could have held that had he hit enough rockets, but 4-0 for Froyo. Velocity, they won the first 2 mids, but they haven't found an answer for Froyo on the past 2. They're going to need to switch something up here.
This could be our last mid-fight here. froyotech are going to take this game 5-0. Big bomb by Yomps. Jarrett going down so early. That is not a good sign. And Blaze, he's just allowed to get so far in. He's taking a lot of damage now, but it might be too late. He gets so much onto Bear. Now Shade does get bombed in on. There's a couple of players still in the back lines. Eric did a great job of cleaning up. Yomp still getting aggressive on a Pete, and a big sticky from Habib. Gonna be able to finish that frag off. Shemu just looking for anything he can get. Shade is much more healthy than he was a few seconds ago. He's healed himself back up. He's gonna eat one pipe there, and I mean, he's trying for the footwork. Can't quite make it happen though.
Yeah, Froyo eventually going to be able to clean that up, and it seems at this point, you know, Velocity, they have good DM, and it seems like they have a plan on mids, but you can just see the execution is just not the same as Froyo. They're running similar mids, but the coordination on the side of Froyo is just, it's too much. It's so good, and Velocity, you know, their coordination is better than most teams, but to Froyo, it's just not up to par.
Showstopper actually with a pretty nice bomb in there. 2 quick rockets gets the frag on a Habib, but Shade pops the Ubercharge off in second where there's not a whole lot of players. I'm not sure if he got forced there, but he's not too low on HP, so disastrous Ubercharge from froyotech. They might still get one frag as Pete's eating a little bit of spam here, but able to back off with his medic, so not the end of the world for them. This is going to be big Ubercharge advantage for Bear, already at 95%, Shade only about 30. He's no longer running that crit streak, so despite it working relatively well last round, they've opted to switch off of it. So we'll see what the counter aggression is from Velocity if they choose to push out. I mean, they're 4 down at this point. It's going to be tough not to. Here they come, popping off. Get the frag on a Blaze, but already Shamu's going down in a trade 1-for-1. When you're all shiny and enemy team's not, that's not really the type of trade you want to be taking. Showstopper tries to get aggressive, but just shut down. froyotech were so far back after that Ubercharge came out.
Yeah, Showstopper trying to do too much with the Uber there. He could have just stayed alive, and look at this Froyo. They want to come in, Crypt in a nice position to get some early damage, though, on those aggressive scouts, and keeping them at bay, at least for the time being. Froyo still just trying to pressure this flank. You can see Yomps is up in the lunchbox. Habib holding down the point right now. Uber did just come up for Shade, so it's time to go for Froyo. They do pop. The scouts are running in. Jarrett trying to get out of there with his life, but he's going to get taken down from the meat shots of Banny. Eric coming in to support, and Velocity. It looks like they want to get aggressive right now, though, as Froyo caught a bit in, but look at this bomb from Blaze. Just so effective. Shamu down. Pete does get a frag onto Shade. Banny down as well. We'll just Bear alive. This is going to be the end of Velocity. He does get one nice frag at the end, but not enough.
That is going to be a 5-0 for froyotech, and this combining with the tournament we saw just yesterday, that means that every top team has gone against froyotech very recently, and every top team has failed to get even one round. Next weekend, of course, is the Rewind LAN, and froyotech, I mean, they're looking so good, at least compared to the other North American teams. The only team that we haven't seen play froyotech in the past 2 days is 7.
Yeah, true that. Froyo just making light work of the NA scene right now, and honestly, Velocity, it felt like they were in it at the beginning. Jarrett was actually outplaying Habib at the early portion of the mid fights. They were just getting so much damage onto him, but it's just sad. They could never really convert it into rounds, and just small mistakes, but just a small mistake against Froyo, it's just game over. And Velocity with a few too many of those, and you know, it felt like after that first half, they just got the wind punched out of them. I mean, that second half was over a flash. I mean, disappointing. I think Velocity, you know, they had potential to at least take a round there. They had some good fights, some good plays from the soldiers, but yeah, just not enough. Froyo clearly ready for Rewind at this point. They've been putting in a whole lot of effort. They obviously want to win this LAN, and just looking so good at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know how much you want to dig into his stats after a 5-0, but they do look a little more even than after some 5-0s that we've seen. I mean, nobody on Velocity stands out to me as especially low when you look at these numbers. I mean, maybe Jarrett, but he is playing Demo Man, and I mean, he had some big plays that I saw there. So it's not like there's like this one Velocity player that's just dragging the whole team down. Like as a team, they seem to be playing solid. It's just their average of their numbers is consistently lower than froyotech's on damage and frags both combined. I mean, they do have some players who are up there. Shamu doing a good job on the frags. Showstopper up there with damage, certainly contesting with the top players on froyotech. But it's just not enough when the enemy team is so well coordinated, so good at punishing your every little mistake. And I mean, froyotech, what can you even say at this point?
Yeah, they're just they're looking incredible. To quote myself from yesterday with the Essentials tournament. It's just a master class of the current meta. They're just so good right now with how the game is played. In 2018 TF2, Yomps is fitting in very well. He's playing on Pocket exactly what they would want a Pocket on their team to do. And it's just all working perfectly right now. Every gear is turning. No wrench to be found. So I mean, honestly, at this point, we don't know what 7 are going to be, what level they're really going to be at for Rewind. It's hard to tell. In the European scene, they've been mostly dominant. You know, Ascent EU doing decently against them in some games, but for the most part, dominating the scene as well. So at this point, I mean, Froyo just looking so good, but I mean, it's, you know, it's tough to call, but of course, Rewind Land, that is going to be this weekend. So you're going to have to watch and find out.
Absolutely, and if you are so excited for competitive TF2 action that you can't wait all the way to the weekend, we do have some games coming up before then. Tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have a European match for ETF2L Ascent.eu versus Aura Electro, and then later that night, My Anime List versus Swift NA. That'll be a kind of interesting match to maybe see how Anime shape up against the lower top 4 invite teams. If they can get a few rounds off of Swift, or maybe even beat them, they might have an opportunity to get into playoffs. I don't know how the numbers are going to completely work out by the end of the season, but that should be a very good game happening tomorrow with Ro and Marxist. And then, yeah, obviously it is the Rewind LAN next week, or next weekend. So be sure to watch that on eSports Arena's Twitch channel or on TFTV1 right here. So mine has been Cornpop, of course, been joined by Mela, and Azazel has been on the stream. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.